He asked me if I want to try it. It's like, yeah, sure, I want to go on skates. I want to see what it's like. I mean, on TV it looks fantastic. It looks easy. We went on. He put the skates on. I jump on the ice, try to skate. Bam, face down, knock my 2 teeth out. I was like, oh, this is great. This is hockey.
Hyperbole, this is not. This perhaps is the most fascinating athlete, I can tell you, the most fascinating hockey player that I've ever met in my career right here. I played hockey, I've been around him, but this guy's so much more than a hockey player, and that's what we hope to get into up here. 1977, Big Z was Little Z. Very little Z.
Being born in Czechoslovakia, I had great childhood. Just like any other kids, we spend a lot of time outside playing, doing all sort of things, making a lot of troubles, and just like every parent would tell you, like, oh my goodness, he was such a sweet boy, but it wasn't like that. So, but not till later on. When you grew up into teenage years, you start to understanding what it was like to be under the Soviet regime. Nothing against Russia, nothing against what was happening politically, but it was just different. It was just you had to follow some orders and some regulations, and for kids, it was kind of hard to understand that when you were going to school, you had to take a bus. When you were on a bus, anytime some older person came on, you had to give him the seat. That was just a rule, unwritten rule, but everybody went by it. You went in school, you had to say every morning a certain way to greet teachers. When teacher came into the class, you were not allowed to sit down before the teacher sat down. A lot of these things were kind of just rules. We were not able to chew gums. We had no gums, no jeans. We're just everything was not allowed because it was what you call it, contraband. Whatever,
Yeah,
it was just it was not allowed. So imagine this. I was 18 years old, and after the regime fell, it was just very shortly after. Everybody had everything jeans. It was like, and everybody chewed a gum, and we were all watching these, Rambos and Bloodsport and Jean-Claude Van Damme and Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. It was because we never see anything like it before. It was amazing. So it was one of those things, and obviously at age 18, I came over and just saw another level of living standards. It's been great. So yeah.
What was it like training with your dad? We've talked a little bit in the past about it. He was very disciplined, or was about that too. And so how did that help you as an athlete and as a hockey player?
My dad was the one who brought me to hockey. He came home one day and then he said that there's opening a hockey academy and they were doing like recruiting. So he asked me if I want to try it. It's like, yeah, sure, I want to go on skates. I want to see what it's like. I mean, on TV it looks fantastic. It looks easy. And our neighbor, one kind of house over from where we lived, he was actually working as a Zamboni driver. So my dad thought, like, hey, I have this new pair of skates. I'm gonna run to the neighbor. He's gonna open up the rink later that night. He opened up the rink for us. We went on. He put the skates on. I jump on the ice, try to skate. Bam, face down, knock my 2 teeth out. I was like, oh, this is great. This is hockey. So came home. My mom was looking at me all bloody. I was like, what happened? I was like, yeah. So. Yeah, that was my very first time, like my experience with the ice. But I don't know, it was something great about that. I felt very connected, like the smell of the ice, just the arena, doing something different in the summer was, like just I don't know, I fell in love with it. Even I started very late compared to all of my friends.
How old were you?
I was about 6 or 7 when I started skating, and all my friends, they were already like sting handling, shooting pucks, and I was going along the boards. But my dad, played a huge role because he was a professional athlete. He told me, listen, like, don't worry about them, just worry about yourself, and you can catch up. But the only way you can catch up is by going extra, like doing extra work. And whatever you do, you have to do it without cheating, and you have to do it honestly. And eventually, the hard work will pay off. We had actually a big house with a big yard, and it wasn't a farm. It was kind of like something between like a farm and big house, but we had a lot of like these animals we had to take care of. Like we had pigs, chickens, rabbits, all these animals, and because it was tough, like we had to help out. The family needed, obviously, we were not poor, but we were not wealthy. We had to like live off the animals, and so my dad said, hey, first you have to take care of the house. When I'm not home, you have to take care of it. After that, you have to train, and after that, you can go home. Well, sure enough, there was no time to go out because by the time I was finished with feeding all the animals and getting watering the plants and tomatoes and potatoes and all that stuff, and after that I got in my basement and did the workout. Sure enough, it was so dark and I was exhausted. So
give us a quick example, just what kind of workout he would have you do, like 2 or 3 exercises. You're known for your workout ability.
So. My dad was very creative, and he, because we spent so much time outside, he would build like a pull-up bar on the trees, on the tree branches. So I could, every time I walked by, I would just had to do pull-ups. I didn't have to run down in the basement and do pull-ups over there. So he would do like a pull-up bar. Then we had like a big round iron for dips, for like push-up dips around the trees. He had me carry like these buckets of water when I was watering when I look back, it was like people who kind of walked by and see me, they were like, what's going on in here? But there was some extreme outdoor games, or what you kind of watching these, the Ninja
Warrior.
Yeah, Ninja Warrior. So I was kind of like one of those. I was on a tree and doing dips and pull-ups and jumping. And so I was kind of like, while I was working out.
I grew up a Bruins fan. Even though I'm from Chicago, I grew up a Bruins fan because my family's from Boston, or half my family. So to me, I'm there and I'm supposed to be unbiased, and I was the NHL Network, but you know what I wasn't? I was like, yes, they won it.
Yeah.
So the fan, the hockey person in me, the hockey guy in me, I wish I could have been in there, just on the fly on the wall. So take us inside. What was that like?
Well, after, we all got the chance to hoist the cup on the ice and, take pictures with families, with each other. Then we took it to the locker room, and the locker room was already filled with a lot of families and friends. There was no much room you could move. It was just I don't know, the size of the locker room was probably like half of where we're sitting. Mm-hmm. And imagine you have, I don't know, 150 people there. It's just, and the champagne is just, spraying everywhere, beers, this, that, and everybody's trying to hug each other and hoist in the cup and pose for pictures, and you are celebrating, you're enjoying, but you're feeling the exhaustion, like it's settling on you. It's slowly but surely, you're just kind of feeling like you out of it, like your body, what you
almost
were talking,
surreal.
Yes, almost surreal, like what you went through for 6 months prior to those 2 months. It's hard to kind of describe what it feels like, and to play every other day and at that level where everybody's giving everything at every shift, every game, regardless what it's it's incredible. Like, and then towards the end, you either have everything or you have nothing, and it's just I've been on both ends, and it's incredibly joyful or incredibly sad.
Can you have any recollection about what you were thinking at that moment?
Everything kind of what I went through, some adversities and being cut by coaches and teams back home, kind of went like it was a split second. It just went through my mind, honestly, and I wish I could take all of my teammates to raise the cup, because it's such a unique and incredible moment that as athletes we all dream of, to hoist the most prestigious trophy, or winning an Olympic gold medal or whatever it might be, or breaking a world record. So it's a feeling that it will be with you for the rest of your life. And I was such a lucky and to have that moment. So I'll be forever grateful.
A lot of people in here are hockey people, so you understand locker rooms can dictate an awful lot about what happens with your team. It has to be real. It can't be fake. This Bruin team, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here, seems to me to be incredibly tight, real, no BS, a genuine, you don't always get that at the NHL level. A lot of times it's 23 individual guys that you hope come together. This is as tight a team as I've been around in my time covering you guys. Do you feel good about this team heading now down the stretch into the playoffs?
I do. I really do. And it takes time. We've been very fortunate. We were able to keep about 5 or 6 of us from 2011. Even before that, Patrice obviously has been 15 years. Then myself, Tuka, Brad,
Krejci.
Yep. So we had about 4 or 5 guys who went through obviously what we went through 2010, 11, 12. And then we had some players who came in and stayed, and now younger players came in, and we try to always kind of pass on what we feel is the right thing to do and how we should play and how we should be on and off the ice and represent the Bruins and play with a certain style and under the identity. And thankfully, guys buying into it, and it's amazing when you have 23 people working as one, and they all kind of support each other. It creates a huge amount of energy and being connected and love each other. It's actually your second home. It's your family, and it's amazing when it starts clicking and you take care of each other and really respect each other and work really hard to achieve the same goal.